What's up, everybody?
It's your boy coming at you with another deep dive that the mainstream media doesn't want you to see. Before we jump in, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth.
Let's get right into it.
The auditorium was packed. You could feel the electricity in the air as thousands waited for former President Donald Trump to take the stage. The energy was absolutely insane. Supporters wearing their MAGA gear, journalists frantically typing notes, curious onlookers trying to get a glimpse of the man himself. But amidst all that chaos and excitement, there was someone who stood out. Not because she was loud or demanding attention, but because she was the complete opposite. A little girl, couldn't have been more than 10 years old, sitting quietly with a small notebook clutched in her tiny hands.
Her eyes?
Wide with anticipation and a hint of nervousness. Nobody knew it yet, but this kid was about to change the entire energy of that room. When Trump finally walked out, the crowd went absolutely wild. Standing ovation, people cheering, phones in the air, the whole 9 yards. He had that swagger, that confidence that's unmistakable. Love him or hate him, the man commands attention the second he enters a room. He dove right in, hitting all his usual talking points, bringing jobs back to America, strengthening the border, making deals that put America first. The crowd was eating it up, nodding along, breaking into applause every few minutes.
Classic Trump rally vibes.
Then came the Q&A portion.
Hans shot up wer.
Of course, the staffers were picking the usual suspects: local business owners with softball questions, supporters who just wanted to praise him, journalists trying to get a soundbite they could spin later. But then something unexpected happened. That little girl I mentioned? Her hand went up, trembling slightly. For whatever reason, maybe divine intervention, who knows, someone passed her the microphone. The entire room turned to look at her. You could see people thinking, what's this kid gonna ask? Something cute about the White House pets. She stood up, her voice small but surprisingly steady, and asked, "Mr. Trump, do you believe in God?"
Boom.
Just like that, the entire mood shifted. The chattering stopped. The political posturing vanished. This wasn't a question about policy or elections or the economy. This was something deeper, more fundamental. Trump, who usually fires back responses without missing a beat, actually paused. I swear you could hear a pin drop in that massive auditorium. He looked at this little girl, really looked at her, and you could see something change in his expression. The bombastic showman facade softened. "That's a beautiful question, young lady," he said, his voice gentler than anyone was used to hearing.
Let me tell you something.
He leaned forward, like he was having a personal conversation with just her, despite the thousands watching.
I've seen a lot in my life.
I've been at the very top, and I've faced challenges that many wouldn't believe. But through it all, I've always believed in something greater than myself. I believe in God, and I believe He guides us in ways we sometimes don't understand. The girl's eyes were locked on him, drinking in every word.
But she wasn't done.
She followed up with, "How do you know He's real?" This wasn't some gotcha question from a skeptic. You could hear in her voice this genuine childlike desire to understand. She wanted reassurance, not debate. Trump smiled, not that camera-ready smile we've all seen a million times, but something more authentic. "Because I've seen His hand in my life," he said, his voice carrying throughout the silent room. "There were moments when I thought everything was lost, but somehow things worked out. When you see miracles happen, not just in your own life but in the lives of others, you start to understand that there's something bigger than all of us at work." The crowd was absolutely transfixed. This wasn't political theater anymore. This was real human connection happening right before their eyes. But then the little girl bit her lip and asked something that cut straight to the heart. What about bad things that happen? Does God still care when people are hurting? Man, talk about a heavy question from someone so young.
Trump nodded solemnly. That's a tough question, he acknowledged.
There's a lot of pain in the world, and sometimes it's hard to understand why. But I believe God gives us strength to get through it. He doesn't always take away the challenges, but He gives us the courage to face them. At this point, I'm not making this up, tears started welling up in the girl's eyes. She tried to wipe them away quickly, clearly embarrassed, but Trump noticed. "Hey, it's okay," he said, his voice gentle.
"It's good to feel.
It means you have a big heart, and that's one of the most important things in life." She sniffled and finally revealed what was really going on. "I just miss my mom," she whispered, her voice barely picked up by the microphone. "She always told me God is watching over us, but she's gone now." I'm telling you, the atmosphere in that room changed instantly. People who came to cheer political points were now wiping their own eyes. Trump's face completely transformed. This wasn't about politics anymore.
This was human to human.
He stepped closer to her, his voice quieter but firm.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. I really am.
But I want you to remember something. Your mom was right.
She's still with you in your heart, in the love she gave you, and I truly believe she's watching over you right now.
The little girl started crying for real now, and Trump did something nobody expected. He stepped off the stage, walked right up to her, and gently patted her shoulder. You're stronger than you know, he told her. And I promise you, no matter how tough things get, you are never alone. The crowd started applauding, not the loud, rowdy cheers from earlier, but something softer, more respectful. People were whispering to each other, some openly crying. It was one of those rare moments where all the divisions seemed to fade away. The girl looked up at Trump, tears still on her face but with a little spark back in her eyes.
Thank you, she whispered.
I just needed to hear that. Trump gave her a nod, then turned back to the crowd. You see, folks, this is what really matters, he said. At the end of the day, it's not about politics or money or power.
It's about fight, love, and the people we hold dear.
The applause grew louder, people rising to their feet. I'm telling you, it was something to witness. Even the journalists who came ready to criticize were visibly moved. As the event wrapped up, Trump made a point to find that little girl again. He knelt beside her, the former president of the United States kneeling to be at eye level with a child, and handed her a small card. This is a reminder, he said. Whenever you feel lost, just remember what we talked about.
She looked down at the card.
It was simple, with just a few words written on it. You are never alone. More tears came, but these weren't just sad tears. They were tears of comfort, of hope. As Trump walked away, the little girl clutched that card to her heart. She'd come with a question but left with something much more powerful, a reassurance that she was loved, seen, and never truly alone. That story spread like wildfire. News outlets picked it up, social media couldn't stop talking about it, and people everywhere found themselves reflecting on their own beliefs. For some, it rekindled childhood faith. For others, it was a moment of unexpected inspiration from a figure they'd only seen in political contexts. But for that little girl, it was a moment she'd carry forever. A moment of kindness, of understanding, and of the simple truth that she was never alone. In our hyper-divided world, where everything gets politicized and everyone's shouting their opinions, it's these quiet, genuine human connections that actually change hearts and minds.
Not policy debates. Not campaign slogans.
Just one person showing another person that they matter. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced a moment like this, where someone, maybe even a stranger, said exactly what you needed to hear when you were at your lowest. Those moments are rare, but they're what make life worth living. And hey, before you go, don't forget this video is sponsored by Sponsor Name. They've been supporting independent content creators like me who are committed to bringing you the stories that the mainstream media ignores. Use code CODE for 15% off your first purchase. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear this message today. Remember, in a world full of noise, sometimes the quietest voices have the most powerful things to say. Until next time, stay true, stay strong, and know that you are never ever alone.